Yo, what up, Street Talk, Street Gods, Street Vlogs, or Kim in the house. Just bought a new Tesla Model S, Tesla Model Sonata. So I debadged my mom's old Hyundai Sonata, and there's these little holes. Went to the Tesla dealership, they got me a thing. All shaved, all super clean, baby. Matte black spray paint on the rims. The best thing is I got the car from my mom for free 99. Free 99. If you don't get the joke, that means $0 and 00 cents. I got it for free. Probably spent like $2,000 to get fixed up at the mechanic, and then boom, got like a brand new car for 2,000 bucks. The thing that I'm actually proud of is I'm 35 years old, born in 1988. I think my entire adult, even teenage life, I've never spent more than $2,500 USD on a car. The last car I had in Providence, Rhode Island, 800 bucks. Was it 2003 Subaru Outback wagon, 5-speed, 230,000 miles on the odometer. This one I got for free from my mom, even better. And now this is my new goal. It's like the next car I get, I mean, buy a car or lease a car or rent a car. It's like I want a company to pay me money to drive and promote their car. It's a better flex. So if you want some car promotion, shoot me an email, eric@erickim.com. Get you set up. Anyways, so some turbo thoughts for the morning. Like, what kind of thinker do you want to become? So it's like different ways to think about it. So you could be like a independent thinker, you could be a free thinker, a free spirit, as Nietzsche said. Critical thinker. I think critical is pretty good. Like, I like carte blanche thinker, first principles thinker. To me, like, the best type of thinking is the thinking in which like you think things like blank slate, carte blanche, like don't just regurgitate knowledge or wisdom or information or thinking that others have proposed before you, but rather you just kind of stop, you think, and you're like, does this really make sense to me? Also, a good thing too is study the past, study wisdom from the past, because there tends to be more knowledge and wisdom in the past than there is in the present. So for example, something that was interesting to me is like physique. So for example, when it comes to weightlifting and everything in between, we tend to essentially compare our physique with these modern day bodybuilders, Mr. Olympia dudes who all take steroids, right? And what is a steroid? I think from what I understand is like an unnatural thing you consume, you inject, whatever it is. Essentially, you just like boost your testosterone unnaturally. And I was just like, why not just like naturally boost your testosterone? And then the funny thing too is then the problem with bodybuilders is that your body loses the ability to produce its own natural testosterone, which means you actually become less of a man, and also like your balls shrink, right? And it's funny because testosterone, testicles, aka your balls, assuming that is actually the source and power of your manliness. Like if you use unnaturally externally injecting yourself with testosterone or whatever stuff, your body then communicates to itself, oh, I don't need to produce testosterone anymore because I'm getting it from this external thing. It's a good street photo right there. So then your body's like, oh, I don't need it anymore. And then so like your body will stop producing its own natural testosterone. And therefore you actually become less manly, because real manliness, isn't it about like your body producing more of its own natural testosterone? Like I even heard like some crazy stories where I don't know, like some bodybuilder, pretty young looking guy, maybe in like mid-20s, 25 or something. It's like, steroid. And then one day he's just like, I'm curious to see how far I could go without taking steroids, how strong I could become, right? And then like dude like stops taking it. It's like, oh, my body no longer can make its own natural testosterone or things, so he has to be injected for the rest of his life. Or like people always put this BS like, I have this genetic deficiency that naturally I'm lower in testosterone and therefore I have to take steroids or testosterone boosters in order to just like even the playing field. And the reason why I think genetics is such a scam is I call it genetic fatalism, which means, like, first of all, I don't believe in quote genetics. Like, all the people are like, this bodybuilder has great genetics. It's like, nah, he's just better at taking steroids than you can, right? I mean, there are certain genetic things like height, you can't change that, right? Or like morphology, or I mean, like to an extent, right? Like, let's just say height. Height is a simple one. Height can't change that, right? Don't matter like how many bajillions of dollars you got, you can't just like grow 2 feet if you want to, right? So therefore, as a consequence, genetic fatalism is like, oh, I was naturally born with a hormone deficiency, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, I mean, certainly genetics does play a certain part to it, right? But I think like, maybe genetics is only like 20%, and I think 80% is probably, how you train and approach things. So for example, this is especially big with Asian American dudes, right? They're just like, oh, Asian guys can, but then no, honestly, like everybody, like I taught homeboys, right? Everybody in the NBA is taking steroids or some performance enhancing drug. Steph Curry, LeBron James, all your favorite athletes, all the NBA players, like even apparently I was on homeboys in the sauna, right? Like all the dudes in the NFL, right? Everyone's high on cocaine and Adderall. Everybody, right? Apparently, like really kickers, like the field goal kickers, they all do Adderall because it could get so super focused. So everybody on the drug. So the reason I ain't finna never put no Senecas in organized sports. All these kids sooner or later gonna dip into juice. Like even now I was thinking about it. I played American football in high school. My sophomore year I played outside linebacker. My junior year I played inside linebacker. And I remember there's like some dudes who just like super like, they could look like grown ass adults and then they're like losing hair and shit, right? And like look super masculine, the jaw's like super, and I'm like, to my understanding, I think one thing that's emblematic of steroid use is actually dudes losing hair at a young age. So now that I think about it in retrospect, wow, these like other seniors, like 18-year-old kids, they were all probably, on the juice or whatever. But anyways, so, back to physiology. And so like Google the Farnese Hercules by the Richard Dalton, a sketch, right? It's funny because like you look at the ancient physique of like Hercules, right? And most, jacked soul dude of all time, right? He actually has relatively a small chest and like, I don't know, deltoids, I guess, right? But instead, super insanely massive, your abdomen, like back, shoulders, traps, whatever's, right? So all this modern day nonsense of like super big chest, whatever, it seems to be like kind of not a wise thing. And then it's funny because like 99.99% of the guys that met the gym, myself included, right? 99%, all the injuries happen from like bench press. People can't use a barbell, straight bar anymore for bench because I just think it's not natural, not a good movement. Or like, shoulder press, overhead presses, etc. And I think that's why CrossFit is so notorious for injuries. Like all these dudes trying to do the overhead presses, clean and jerks, overhead presses, snatches, whatever's like way too fast and just trying to churn it out at some time. And I think that just sets you right for injury. And actually, even for myself, I've like more or less, I've like never injured myself doing 1 rep max lifting. I've always injured myself through some like quote overuse, like cranking out reps, like doing 7 to 8 reps, and then on the 8th rep it's like, oh, that felt like a little weird. Then I've done fucked up a ligament for like a month, right? Super fucking annoying, right? But anyways, so don't do reps. Reps for suckers, just 1 rep maxing. It's actually technically safer. Also, the reason why I'm such a huge proponent of Atlas lift, it's probably the quote-unquote safest lift, honestly, one could do. And not only that, but when I do an Atlas lift, it's like binary, right? Like you can lift it up or you can't. It's like if it don't budge, then it's cool, right? Yeah, do a lot of yoga, stretching, the mobility stuff. And in terms of thinking, just sit down, close your eyes, think, erase all this nonsensical thing, and think for yourself.